So best friends got each other's back. We used to cruise around with a bass to the max. Everyone in school while I was in the lab, cooking up some beats that would turn into tracks. High school chillin', I was on a mission. I had bigger dreams of being a musician. Teachers always talked but I couldn't seem to listen. I lived in a fantasy land, they called it fiction. But I was gonna be big one day, playing shows on the road to a sold out stage. Nobody really cared or believed I would make it anywhere close, I would fail and fade. But that's cool, I love that, cause any little doubt gives me energy back. And now I'm in a place where I'm glad I never gave up on the dreams I had. And big dreams lead to big things, and big swings lead to big rings. Championships or the big screen, anyone who did anything took a big swing. And big dreams lead to big things, and big swings lead to big rings. Championships or the big screen, anyone who did anything took a big swing. Yeah, let's go. So if you want something big, you gotta swing fast, swing hard and commit. You might miss 10 times, but when you hit, just make sure that you get all of it, okay? People at the top took risks. Investing and testing is all that they did. It's not complicated, it just takes grit. So never give up, take a swing at it. And big dreams lead to big things, and big swings lead to big rings. Championships or the big screen, anyone who did anything took a big swing. And big dreams lead to big things, and big swings lead to big rings. Championships or the big screen, anyone who did anything took a big swing.
Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to the Pick and Roll Podcast, episode 115. I'm here with my good friend, Coach Ed Gladney. Blake will pop in momentarily. Rios is at work doing his thing. And speaking of the devil, how you doing?
What's up, Blaze?
What did I do?
I don't know. Just speaking of the devil, because I said Blake will pop in momentarily.
Yeah.
And by the way, you and I were going back and forth in Joey's chat. That was funny.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely my bestie, not yours. I mean, I didn't get timed out like you did.
Yeah. But, yeah, Coach, how you doing, man?
I'm good, and yourself?
I'm doing good. I had a good, productive day and ready to talk some hoops because obviously there's something big, not big. It's like, is it big or pause? Yes. But, like, is it really like that? I don't know how to say it. You guys don't want to talk about the whole thing with Stephen A. and LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like annoying at this point.
For me, it is big.
Okay.
And it's big in this respect because as a black man, as a black father, to see two of the black community's leaders, because they are leaders, go back and forth in a public forum.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing. It's disgusting. It's sad. You know, this is something to be brutal, and we said it before. This should have been handled behind closed doors.
Yep.
You know, and Blaze, I see what you've been saying about LeBron, and again, it's sad. Stephen A., I'm not absolving him. You know, I understand today he had to defend himself. I get it, but still, to go on a public forum and I know you guys may not understand when I say as a black man, because in the black community we have to do things a lot differently. And when you see guys like that make it out of the hood, you're naturally saying, yeah, at least they can show the younger generation how to make it out of the hood. And as long as you work hard and you stay committed to your craft. But then when you go back and forth, and yes, LeBron, you're defending your son in some regard. I understand as a parent, but Michelle Smallman said it. When you circumvent the system, in a sense, you cut the line to get your son in the NBA over though others who have worked hard and deserve the opportunity. You open yourself up to the criticism, because that's all it is. It's criticism. You're speaking about it. And yes, Stephen A said he really wasn't talking about Bronny. He was talking about Stephen A. I mean, I'm sorry, he was talking about LeBron and the father that works in the Lakers organization, opening the doors or bringing his son in to get there. And Stephen A even said it. All I said was he wasn't ready. I never talked down about him or anything of that nature. But on the same token, he's a journalist. That's his job.
Hmm.
He works for ESPN. He works for Walt Disney. He has an obligation. And then, and he said it, LeBron is very tactful. His agency is very tactful. They planned that, especially on the day that the news came out about his contract. It was planned. Again, Bronny has his phone. I mean, LeBron has Stephen A's phone number. You could have called him. Stephen A said, could have met me in the back. You didn't have to put it out there in the public like that. And I get it. And yes, when you're from the hood, when somebody comes at you like that, you know what? You coming for me. I got to defend myself. And LeBron, you're making this about you. That's really what it is. And mind you, we all will do things for our family and make it about us in some small context, but you're taking this far beyond. And then to go on Pat McAfee and to highlight it there, I mean, it disgusted me, and it wasn't just also about Stephen A, because I mean, I took my notes. He said, speaking on former players who he was speaking on former players who transition into media. Okay,
Hmm.
they're idiots. They don't know the game of basketball. Some of the many of dudes. And then in reference to the chatter that is going on out there, a lot of those guys that played the game or did not play the game, and I'm quoting verbatim. So please don't think I'm paraphrasing or adding. You can go watch the video and you can see this is exactly what he said. A lot of those guys that played the game or did not play the game, it was just play the game while they were talented. I don't think they thought the game. I don't think they were ever smart. I think they were just bigger, stronger, faster, and they dominated the sport. And that right there, I attribute to him attacking Chuck and Shaq. Now that's me. I could be wrong. You guys tell me if you felt the same way, if you saw the episode, or if what I'm saying is my assumption is wrong. But when you talk about they were bigger, talented, stronger, faster, yeah, Shaq was there. Charles was there at that point in time, especially coming out of Auburn. You know, I he's going around, claiming he's protecting the players and his family. You're not protecting the players. You're trying to make it about you because you know what? You want to be perceived as the greatest in the game. And Stephen A said it, his opinion, he's number two. And then Stephen A went in and broke down the numbers, which I did not really even know. And I'm saying it's hard for me to argue against Michael in comparison to him if you want to go there. So to me, when you said, is it big, or you question, for me, it is. And to several people in my community that I know, they said, yeah, this is big. This shouldn't even be in the public forum like this, man, because it makes yes, we're looking at it from a black perspective, but yes, we say it makes us look bad. It makes us, when people say, oh, you see the world star videos and people are out there fighting, and they say, well, see, that's how they act. Well, how can this is on a bigger form? They're just not throwing fists; they're throwing verbal jabs at each other when you should be in private. So
Uh,
that's what I had to say.
Blaze?
I mean, I totally 100% agree with what Coach is saying about it. It's kind of embarrassing, and you know me, I'd rather be talking about what's happening on the court,
Me too.
instead of this. But now we're talking about this right before the playoffs, and I don't have a problem talking about it because it brings up a lot of good points. I watched Stephen A's little rebuttal today. I talked about last week. We talked about what I thought about, Bronny staging it because he saw that. He knew that camera was behind him, but he knew that Stephen A didn't.
He looked at it when he walked away.
Stephen A mentioned it too. You like Coach said, you could have came to me as a man in the back. And then here we go. LeBron says Stephen A made it personal. Stephen A says, I didn't make it personal. It's like a little childhood argument. It's like two little school kids arguing over who gets the damn basketball first or something on why. It's like a dick swinging contest too at the same time. Stephen A had a good point. I'm a journalist. I'm here to do this. Is my job. I don't care if you could beat me a million times one-on-one or whatever, or I've never played, or I sucked at basketball. This is my job. I'm going to report on it. And then at the same time, Stephen A comes out and goes, I would have swung on him. Get the fuck out of here. See, now they're both,
hear what he
they're
said
both
after
inflating their dicks. They both are going to sit, and Stephen A is going to say, "Oh, of course I would talk against you and debate you anywhere." He's a debater. He's a talker, of course. But that's like LeBron saying, "Let's settle this on the basketball court." Like it makes no sense either way. They're both attention seeking, and this is my whole problem with LeBron. Just like Stephen A said, I'm not knocking his game. He didn't even make it personal. He was talking about Bronny being in that situation now when he felt he shouldn't be yet. And he actually supports Bronny, just like I do. I'm a supporter of Bronny. I mean, I got a lot of respect for someone who has to be raised doing, number one, what his dad did, no matter what it is. Baker, pizza man, whatever. You're doing the same thing your dad did. So you're already being held to this. Now you're being held to a standard to someone who is world renowned. And here's my thing. I sat and watched the whole McAfee thing yesterday too, and the day before. I watched the whole thing. Yes, the timing was very weird. First of all, Stephen A signs this big, huge contract. Then LeBron confronts him. No, I want the spotlight. Then Stephen A comes back and he's going to want the spotlight. And now LeBron, in that whole thing with Pat, and I give Pat a lot of credit. He asked him about Mike Jordan. He didn't hide that. He asked him about flopping. He put everything out there. And that's what I love about Pat McAfee is he's unapologetically a douchebag. Like he's gonna put the information out there. He's a Pittsburgh dude. Like he's the same thing. I don't give a shit. Just tell me about what this is. I'm gonna put you on a spot. He did that with Hulk Hogan. He did that with The Rock. He did that with Brock Lesnar. He did that with Tyrese Halliburton. He's done that with anybody who's on his show. He is unapologetically himself, and he's going to bring up that shit. Like he threw softballs out to Hulk Hogan to address the racism, to address all the steroids, to address all that shit, and he dodged it. He did the same thing with LeBron, but what LeBron did was he didn't like swing and miss. He hit a foul ball, which I mean by that is he made it all about him. It's all about how great LeBron is and how everyone should fucking bow down to him. And that's my issue with him. It's his attitude. It's not his game. And, for him to say, like, there's that old clip you see if you're running through reels.
Hey, my bestie's here.
Where LeBron will straight out come out and say, an interview years ago, I don't know when it was, oh, I don't have to flop. I'm a very physical player. I don't need to flop. And then you see all the highlights of his super egregious flops. And I was very, very interested to see, no one asked him about flopping. This is the first time I've ever seen Braun put on spot about flopping. He dodged that question completely. He didn't say anything about, and what that is to me, it's, I know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm gonna act, because acting gets me. And he even mentioned it. I'm bigger than I'm an actor. I'm this. I'm a promoter. I'm this. He wants to be what Michael Jordan was, bigger than the game itself. And I understand that. Got no problem with that. Stop the comparisons. They got different genes. They got different upbringing. They got different backgrounds. You know, the one thing they have in common is the love of basketball. And that's what we all have. So we're all in that category. It reminded me of two little kids arguing over something, because now it's, I challenge you to come on to a show and debate me. And like LeBron's going to do that in the middle of a playoff push. It's like, it's so stupid. It's like they're both teasing each other about something that they want to be and they are top topic of our basketball podcast today. So they did what they wanted to do. They got the damn headlines.
Yeah. Did you hear? Well, first off, LeBron posted Stephen A. boxing on his Instagram, laughing.
And Stephen A. said that's right after I just had surgery, or I just had this wrong. It's a baby fest. It's a little bitch fest between two bitches. And that's what they're talking. I'm not talking about. Stephen A's a great reporter. He's one of the best. He is the man right now in the industry. So is LeBron. And that's what goes back to what Coach says. This is the man in the sports reporting, where I can't speak on blackness. I'm not black. I didn't grow up that way. So I can't. I'm just being real. I'm speaking out. I'm looking on the outside looking in. I understand that point, though. I can't speak on it because I didn't live it, but I understand that point. He is the man. It's like, okay, we have arguably two of the most well-known people in the sports world. And we're not talking about shooting a basketball, dribbling a basketball, throwing a football. We're not talking about any of that. We're talking about stupid beef over, you called out my son. Now it's my family. I got to put you on the spot, and I'm going to do it in public. And now I'm a public figure, Stephen A. I have to, like Coach says, he had to defend himself. And how is he going to defend himself? Is he going to write an article? Is he going to send a letter to the editor? He's got a TV show. So it's like, you got to realize, if you sit back and even think about what if something like this happened, this is exactly how I would think it would play out.
And then did you hear about him saying about Giannis that he would score 250 points?
And that's, he's exaggerating. He doesn't mean 250. He means a lot. He even explained that later. But that's what I mean. That's the world we live in. You're going to see the clip, and you're only going to see the one clip with LeBron mouthing with Stephen A. You're not going to see Stephen A's side. We have never seen Stephen A's side of what he's saying. We can't read his lips. You know, it's like, so they're only going to take that one piece out. They're going to take little clips from the Pat McAfee podcast and make it look one way. And then you go to this other group, and they're going to make it look a different way. And Stephen A., as much as I've agreed with him, when I agree with him, I don't like how he handles a lot of the things he does, but he is the man. And you have two of the biggest people in the world, arguably name-wise, and this is why we're talking about them over beef, over what you said about my kid. It sounds like a childish little argument.
Yeah, the whole thing is just, it's annoying, but for me, it's kind of funny too, because you would never have expected LeBron to go on Pat McAfee. And the fact that he did, and then he's talking about this, it's just like, to me, that's funny.
And Stephen A. brought it up too. He's like, is it weird that, you know, like all of a sudden LeBron goes on McAfee? And LeBron's not stupid. He's a brilliant person. He knows McAfee, ESPN. Stephen A., ESPN. He was trying to back Stephen A. into a corner, saying, well, I went on your network and talked about it. And he knew Stephen A. would have to say something the next day, you know? And that's why, like I said, I give hats off to Pat McAfee instead of just sitting back and not asking the tough questions, but putting LeBron on the spot. And to me, this goes right along with the flopping, with the complaining, with the other shit that's tainting LeBron's legacy. To me, I can only speak to me. He's still arguably top 5 in the world. I still probably put Magic and Jabbar probably above him, top 5, maybe even because of their impact. But he's still, you can't argue what he's done on the court. You can't. But but do you want to look back at the history of LeBron when it's all said and done and you're going into the Hall of Fame and they're not showing, like, you go back to Jordan, they're going to show the shoe stuff, the marketing stuff, They're going to show on the court. They're going to show his little baseball thing he did for a while. But LeBron, they're going to show about him, the decision. That's always going to be a big thing because they make a big deal out of that because he's one of the first people to say, I'm not even getting traded or anything, but I'm going to make a huge deal out of this, which was, hey, you're a performer. Perform. I got no problem with him and the boys saying we're going to win 5, 6, 7, 8 in Miami. I got no I really don't have a problem with that. Like a lot of people do. They're like, why would you come out and say that? Because they're that great. Why wouldn't you come out and say that? And they had the team that should have won 5 or 6 in a row and stuff like that. But now late in his career, what are they going to talk about? They're going to talk about the bubble championship, with a lot of people put an asterisk by. I don't. The performers are still performing to win. They can't handle this. They can't decide the situation when it comes to a freaking worldwide pandemic.
Oh, you mean they're not playing the tank? That must be new.
It's just it irks me because just like the first thing the coach said, it's an embarrassment because this is what we're talking about instead of basketball. And we shouldn't. It's their personalities overtaking. They're getting too much power. And I don't care black, white, green, brown, orange, purple. You put any human being in that situation their entire life, and we've talked about this, being treated like kings or queens. They get an attitude that they're above the law. They're above anything. So LeBron thought, I could go do this to Stephen A. and he gonna do shit. And Stephen A. can say, I can go on my show and say whatever I want about LeBron, and he won't be able to rebut because he's not on it. But he's smart enough to still challenge him to that debate. You know what I mean? Like, they're both playing a fucking game right now. And to me, the only way it ends, pay-per-view interview. And they're going to make a shitload of money out of it or something stupid. It's going to be an ESPN special or something. And it's going to be Stephen A. and LeBron. And they're both going to change their attitude a little bit because they're face-to-face in front of a camera.
Don't do that. You're
And
not
they're
even
gonna-
giving the idea.
And they're going to pretend that they're badasses at first and have all this problem. And at the end, they're going to dap up and they're going to say, I respect you. And what other end game is there? They're not going to fight. They're not going to play one-on-one. They're not going to have a rap battle. So it's like, what is the end game? A debate live on TV or something to talk about who said what? I mean, that's childish. If there was a real underlying problem, like if Stephen A. did really go off on a rant and say, how dare you as a father do that to your son? He never said anything like that. You know what I mean? Just like Coach alluded to at the beginning. And now all we're talking about, instead of talking about how amazing Luka's doing without LeBron on that team right now, how LeBron supposedly hurt, but he's all these videos of him jogging and running around and doing shit. Like, then there's that whole spiel, is he faking another injury? Like they said last year he did at the end of the season. I don't know. Like, once again, he's not a stupid individual at all. Both of these dudes know what they're doing. And it's a distraction from the sport that we all love.
Okay, Malik, welcome. I'm a diehard Lakers fan, but I want to see LeBron James versus Stephen A. in the boxing ring.
That's what I mean. That's where it takes this. That's where this takes it. Because we're talking about stupidity and him saying, I would have swung at LeBron if I could have. No, you wouldn't have. LeBron's humongous compared to you.
Well, I think what he was saying is, if it got to that point,
I'm sure he's going to defend himself.
He's going to defend himself
He'll
because
make himself look stupider. I mean, you're a great
Exactly.
orator. You're an amazing orator. Stick to talking.
Exactly.
But I mean, for him to even say, I would have swung on you, I get it. That's the manliness of him that had to say, of course I'm going to swing if you're going to raise your arm to me. But in reality, if you do put these two back in a corner where no one cameras or no one sees it,
Pause.
they're both kissing each other's asses in private. That's my take. My take is you take these guys off the camera, out of the spotlight. Don't let them know they're being filmed, but film it and let them talk, and they're kissing each other's asses. Oh, I didn't mean it that way, Braun. Oh, I know, Steven. I know, man. I got to defend myself as a father and a player. I got to defend myself. I'm a reporter. That's what I do. And it would have been a conversation like that. And now, there's no end game to it. It's just all of us bitching and sharing our opinion about it, which doesn't help the game or the sport at all. I'd rather talk about what are we doing to fix the game. And they're talking about moving the 3-point line around and shit.
I think it even takes it even further because even though they shouldn't be to that magnitude, they're big role models. What are you teaching the younger generations? This is how you're supposed to, and this is not even just black kids. This is any kid. You talked about it earlier, Blaze. You know, you put anybody in that
Yeah.
position of power. Is this how you're supposed to act? No, you're not. You know, now if you want to talk things out behind closed doors, cool. It's nobody else's business. You know, hey, LeBron picking up the phone. Hey, Stephen A, I got to talk to you, man. I got a problem. Why are you going after my son? Stephen A could say, I wasn't going after your son. I was talking about what you did to get him in the NBA, which is, you want me draft my son, sign my son. You know, that's really what you were saying. And that's
Yeah,
what it
McAfee even brought up the Rich Paul stuff about, hey, there was all these rumors that you draft him. He's going to Paris, he's going here, he's going out of the country. And LeBron's just like, and they just shook off. I mean, it's a lot of dodging questions. It's to me, both of those two guys get to. I mean, it's not political, but it seems like a political spiel, like how they're always bantering and the way they talk, and it's always seems like a political type thing, how they're approaching it. Like it's always tongue in cheek. It's always me. And we get enough of that because they are the greatest at what they do in the world. So they do have some right to have that ego. I'm not knocking it.
Malik, let me say this. I don't care if Stephen A can or cannot fight.
He will still get his ass kicked.
Let's be real. The man is my age. He's 57, 58 years old. LeBron is 40. We would logically say, okay, yeah. But okay, on the same flip side, you don't know if he knows any type of martial arts or anything of that nature. So it's not important if they can fight, if he can fight, or if they both can fight. Who cares?
It has nothing to do with anything. That's why I just thought Stephen A bringing that up was just his, masculinity needing to come to the rescue real quick while he's talking. You might as well say, yeah, I would have swung if you raised your hand to me or something. Come on.
And then he said after that, I would get my ass kicked.
Yeah, I mean, he's real. I mean, he's not like delusional, like I'm going to beat you up, LeBron, or anything. But at the same time, I don't know. It was funny because when he was doing his little soliloquy, Stephen A, his rebuttal, it looked like it was over halfway through, and they went to Molly in the split screen, and the next thing you know, he went right back onto a new rant and had to go solo to him again. Like it was like, dude, you're beating a dead horse now. Now you're trying to make a lot more out of something that's really not. We've already made too much out of this, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if they keep going with it because it's going to get people talking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Cameron's right, by the way. He posted this in my Discord server. That's kind of cool to have an Euro league.
It's it's definitely, or are they talking about it?
I think they're talking about it, yeah.
Okay.
It's FIBA takes next steps. So it's in the process, yeah.
I think that's inevitable. I've said that before. I've shared my feelings and opinions on that. I think the game needs to be more universalized. They were talking about it with LeBron and them yesterday too. I think it's ridiculous that the college game is 2 halves when everything else is 4 quarters. I mean, it needs to be universalized more. The 3-point line is a conundrum I don't really want to touch because that's the only they're saying it's if you move it back, you take away the corner shot. And that's changing the game a little too much to me, I guess. I don't know.
I'm sorry, Joey got me laughing on that one.
Making the lane like the international and things like that we talked about to try to internationalize the game a little more. I could see some steps towards that. I don't want a 4-point rule or no dumb shit like that. I just, the hoop doesn't need to go up any higher or anything stupid like that. I wouldn't actually mind the international rule where you can fuck with the ball when it's in the cylinder. Like that adds a new dynamic to the game. I mean, you're also risking injury going up there, trying to poke a ball out of the, while it's going into the rim, trying to smack it out of there or whatnot. But I mean, I would rather see something more universalized. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, they mentioned it yesterday too, like that the college game. And I know that's another thing you have later on, NCAA versus NBA. that it's both basketball, but there are a lot of differences between the college basketball game and the NBA, and it's a lot of rules. Like, I'm not just talking about the 3-point line's a little different. Like, there are sets of rules that are completely different, and I wish they were closer. I wish they were a little closer to the same. We don't need the exact same, but I mean, when you're training to be the pro, what you're at the level before should be a lot more similar than what it is. That's all I'm saying. It doesn't have to be exact, but I think, and that's in this big conversation of what do we do to help the game. So that's why, and a lot of people knock Silver. I think he's an amazing commissioner because he's always taking opinions and trying to brainstorm and try the ways to evolve and help and fix or whatever to the game. I mean, the guy obviously loves the game, but I don't think here's the one thing that's going to fix it. That's the problem. You know, and I think part of it, and this is my opinion once again, is the LeBronitude.
My opinion.
The LeBronitudes, and this era needs to end, and we need a new era. We need a new era. I mean, I'm not saying kids are going to be any better, you know, in that sort of way, but I just think it's time. It's ready for the new era of the NBA. Who takes the mantle? Who's the face? That's who knows. You know, that's to be determined in the next 3 to 5 years. And they brought it up on McAfee too, Bryce. And LeBron wouldn't say, he's not going to talk about how many more years he's going to play, but he's only 2 or 3 away from playing with Bryce. And they were like talking about how Bryce could be the one that could make a good run in the NBA more than Bronny could. But I still haven't really given up hope on Bronny. I think this whole conversation is ridiculous because it's about someone who we haven't heard his opinion on any of this. And that's stupid. Like, his whole conversation, like, what about the guy we're talking about? You know, I don't think he needs to address it because that's a very slippery slope on look how much we're analyzing the words of his dad and Stephen A. If Bronny comes out and tries to talk about it, they're going to analyze every single word he says on how he says it. Now, this is also a person who's been raised on how to talk to the media, and his dad has done this, and you're always going to be in the spotlight. So be aware and know what you say. So it's just like, there's no end game to this. It's stupid. We've wasted half of our show talking about nothing about basketball.
Yeah. But Jake, it would look interesting without LeBron. Without LeBron, Curry, Durant, Giannis.
Yeah, it's time. It's time for a new era.
See, I'm used to stuff like that because I went through it with Magic and Bird and MJ. So I understand if you haven't lived it, you know, I get it. So,
like, I went through it with Kobe, Duncan, Garnett, Dirk. So I'm just saying we all go through it, but this year's going to hit differently.
But I even said when LeBron was in that interview with McAfee, they were talking about how powerful his voice is with all the players in the end, not his teammates, everyone in the NBA. He is I hate to even use the phrase, but he's close to a god when it comes to these players when they're still in the room. They grew up watching him and now they're in the NBA with him. So like, he has the honor and respect, not only his peers, but his son's peers because of how long he's been doing this. And that was the big argument Stephen A had keep putting up is he wants to make this argument LeBron versus Jordan again. And there's arguments both ways, but you know, one played half the time. The other one has this and that, and this one has that. I just don't. I mean, the comparison's never going to end. But once again, what's the end game? If you think LeBron's better, you're right. If I think Michael's better, then I'm right. It's an opinionated situation.
But if I say something, I'm wrong, right, Blake? If I say something, I'm wrong.
You can do what Stephen A does, and this is what people do now: is they want to go all the way and be like, look, compare his finals to his finals, compare his, and now you're comparing eras. Now you're comparing 2 different teams in a team sport. You're comparing 2 individuals, and it's like it's not fair on any level, let alone the top of the top of the top of the top. So it's an argument there's no win for, which is Stephen A thinks LeBron is mad at this situation because Stephen A thinks Jordan's the best of all time and LeBron thinks he is. That's Stephen A's point. Once again, that goes back to no, you aren't. You are. I am. No, you're not. I am. No, I am. You're not. And it's like,
Anyways. Yeah, let's actually get through the question of the day. Let's get off with that. off this topic real quick.
The question of the day: what do you think about Stephen A. Smith and LeBron James?
No, this one's kind of interesting. Which player has the most career blocks in the finals of all time? I'm just gonna say all time.
Finals. Oh, geez. Well, they didn't even keep track of it back in the Russell and them
Yeah.
days. So it's probably
Well,
someone who's been.
I might pick a different question.
So it is. So it is someone else. So it is Bill Russell.
It's not Russell. It's not Russell though.
It's Wilder Kareem.
It's Kareem. Let me pick another question.
Well, that makes sense because after in the 80s they started keeping track of it. So they were keeping track of it when Kareem was doing it, and the Lakers were in a lot of finals. That's what I was trying to think of.
Yeah. I'm trying. Huh. Oh, okay. Which team won the first NBA championship?
It's probably a team that doesn't exist, like the Boston Braves or some name that doesn't even exist anymore.
Well, it kind of does.
The Philadelphia Warriors.
Rochester.
You got it.
Is that it? Is that it?
Yes. Yeah.
So there you go. Us Sixers fans have one thing to brag about. Our team, our city, not our team. Our city, not the team, because the team went to Golden State, but our city won the first NBA championship.
Well, isn't it the Pennsylvania Sixers for you?
I'm not associating myself with Philadelphia fans in any capacity.
I know. We got SGA versus Anthony Edwards. The next Michael Jordan versus Kobe, this generation, or Laker versus Boston, Larry Bird versus
and I'm not knocking what Malik says. He's right, but it says I wish that more people pay attention to what I'm saying. I'm not saying I hope that everybody was. I'm just saying I wish more people would stop comparing eras. We don't need another Michael or another Kobe. Let's just get the first SGA, the first Anthony Edwards. Let's see something different. That's what's so great about Michael. When Mike came around, there was no – Dr. J was the only one that was kind of a comparison. The guy who slashed the rim, dunks, flashy. But Mike was a little – as smooth as Dr. J was, Michael had something else that no one's ever had. When Shaq came on, yes – he had the dominance of a Wilt or a Russell or but he had, 10 times their strength when he's dunking the ball, so it's like we got Steph comes out. Yeah, he can shoot the ball like Bird and all these others, but he's taking it to another level. We are about to see something different to take over to be the face. Is it Wemby? Is it an SGA winning 5 MVPs in a row, or Anthony Edwards doing something? If it's Edwards, it's going to be with a different team, I think. I think he's going to be
Luka.
It could be Luka and the Lakers now for the next 5 or 6 years. It's like, so I don't like we need another Kobe or we need another Michael or Bird or Jordan. I get why people say that because that's the legacy of the NBA. Yeah. But it's like, I want to see a brand new, like, that's why I'm so excited about Wemby. Because he can do some things we've seen in the Kareems, something we've seen in the Shaqs, but he's got that something different that we've never seen. So it's like, he's a combination of, that's like when you talk about LeBron and people say he's like a Michael and a Magic put together because he's 6'9", he can run the point, but he's not as defensively superior as Mike is. That's where I think his biggest drawback is. How many all defensive teams does Bron have and, stuff like that. He's never going to catch or even come close to what Mike did defensively. It's the biggest argument, I would say, to lean it one way or the other.
Do you remember the episode where we were talking about all-time in blocks, right? Yeah. And you brought up a good point about Wemby. Like, Wemby could be there fast. Like, he was getting 8 or 10 blocks a game.
And the difference between that, too, is because it's so different, because it's not like, oh, now we have someone scoring 35 points a game instead of 30 winning it. No, we have someone getting 5 blocks a game instead of 2, which is like someone scoring 70 a game. It's almost like doubling the standard in the industry, over doubling the standard. So if you really want to compare the numbers, it's like someone's averaging 60 points a game, what he's doing with blocks. It's amazing. I mean, the one thing we're not talking about a lot is I think, and I know Rios is going to say Amen Thompson, but Dyson Daniels is putting together one of the most amazing years in steals and defensive prowess ever. Yeah, in Atlanta, and I mean he should get votes. If not, maybe the defensive player of the year. But I mean, and that's what this whole root of this argument goes back to. Like I said, Stephen A thinks that LeBron's mad just because he's criticizing his son and because he thinks Jordan's better. So we're going right back to comparing the Mikes and the Kobe's and the Birds and yes, I want the legacy to continue, but this is the same thing as, I'll compare it to the lowly ass Sixers this year. Everyone's a bitch about how shitty the team is. They're not making the playoffs. Everyone got hurt. But me, I'm the guy that's saying, holy shit, we have like 6 really young, good stars that if we can keep those 6, get rid of the old shit, there's a future and you don't have to completely rebuild.
You agree with halftime on that. There's a first.
There's an optimism in it if you, instead of just being a pessimist and looking at the negative shit. I think we have a crop of individuals that could be the next face of the NBA. SGA and Ant are 2 of them. Wemby, there's probably a dozen, if you really want me to get down to it, that are either real close or already up there. That could end up having the longevity it needs to be.
There's actually
the face
one.
Of a sport.
There's actually one that could be the face, and he's playing in college basketball right now. Cooper Flag.
I don't even think it's him. I think he's underwhelming.
I'm just saying the talent.
No, I don't think so.
College.
I don't.
No, I'm saying about the talent is getting better from college on.
Well, I'm
that anybody from college from now could
until he proves me wrong. I think Cooper Flag will be a minor player in the NBA. If he proves me wrong, he proves me wrong.
Yes, it's my bias, and I started watching a little bit of Cooper Flag, and he's gifted, but I think Dylan Harper is probably better suited. And if he continues to develop his game, he could be that one. Now I've watched Dylan. I've watched Dylan though in high school. I've watched him from his freshman year on up. And I've watched his maturation and how he's developed and how he's grown. People want to say, oh, well, he's not overly athletic. He's a lot more athletic than you really think, and he's a lot bigger than you really think too. So,
what happens in the NBA every year when we get to the finals? What happens every year? We get more into isolation ball. You get the stars trying to take over and win the championship for their team. The role players settle into their roles, and the stars have to be stars. So to be on the top echelon, the elite of the elite, you have to have something special. You have to be the guy that they're going to go to at the end of the game repeatedly to try to put the game away or to carry it. I don't know if Cooper Flag has that. I'm not saying he's not going to be a great NBA player. I don't know if he has that. He can prove me wrong right in this college tournament by taking over and showing. We have not seen his leadership yet. And if you're not a leader, a guy who's not afraid to take every shot at the end of the game, and I'll go back to Michael on stuff like that. How confident were you watching the Bulls in the 90s thinking he's going to make the final shot? It's
I was
because
born
he
in
did
94.
Because he did it so well. I'm talking to the general public. That's the feeling that you want to get. Early in LeBron years, I got that feeling with him. Watching him in the finals and get there, LeBron is going to take this ball or Wade's going to get it to him, and he is going to find a way to score. Whether he bully balls you inside like a Barkley or a Shaq, or whether he finesses you up top and shoots right in your face because he's 6'9" and you're 6'3", you're not coming close to blocking him in a jumper. That's the advantage that LeBron had, and he still does.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't like comparing them. I don't want to compare them. Like, how could you compare let's go really off base, a Kobe Bryant to a Larry Bird? They're so different players, not just the look, but the play, the game, the attitude. They both had that Mamba mentality, though. If you talk to players, they're going to let you hear it, but they all have the mouth that comes along with it. It's part of the game. Your mouth is part of the game. When you got it and you let people know you got it and you're going to do this and you do it, that just takes everyone down a notch when you're a competitor. That's the elite people, those that can do that. Hey, I'm about to spin move left hand off the glass on your face, and he does it. Like, it's coming, and they still do it. I keep a very elite profile to put that top echelon.
Shaq was one of them.
Definitely, because you were getting the hell out of the way when he had the ball. And he would take that big ass until he's close enough that all he had to do is turn around and jump, and you were not stopping it because his body weight was 3 times yours.
You're just like, here you go. There's the rim. Just don't hurt me.
So-
There's the rim.
I'm excited. I said this at the beginning of the year, whether my team sucks or not, I'm excited about the future of the game because there's always this huge crop of talent. I just watched some of my favorite new players in the tournament.
Who?
And
I'm just curious. Who?
the one dude from Baylor.
Edgecombe?
Yeah, he is
Yeah,
impressive.
he's a top 4 pick. He's a top 4
That's
pick.
the other guy. He's impressing the shit out of me. I know they're out of it now, but St. John's, that dude from St. John's.
Yes.
Sign him up on my I forget his name. Sign him up on my
RJ?
Is it RJ? I'm
He-
drawing a blank right now. too.
Or Kadari Richmond, who they brought over from Seton Hall.
Whoever was the one that had an amazing dunk at the last game, and he was doing it the whole game. He was just dominant, and you could tell he had that
I know who you're talking about.
look in his
he
eye.
He had a bad game. RJ had a bad game.
He was a bigger dude, and I'm like, dude, this guy has it, and you could just kind of like see it. So there was a couple other guys that just watching, and that's what I mean. Like the LeBrons and the Chris Pauls, they can go. I mean, it's time. Stay around as long as you can, humanly possible. Definitely, you're a professional. As long as you can go, they're going to go. But I'm just so ready for the new crop of talent, and they're going to have to change something in the game. We don't know what it is or how drastic it'll be, but I just have a weird feeling because of the banter, because of the talk, that something in the game is going to change within the next 5 years. Significant, not drastic, significant changes in the game.
And actually, speaking of college basketball, Blaze sent me a picture here that I thought is actually pretty interesting.
Well, this goes back to that who's the best that never went to college conversation we had last week. And these were the 5 guys we brought up.
Yeah.
He said, remember, if you can make a 5 from guys who never went to college, we throw in like Moses Malone or a couple others that didn't go to college too. And these were apparently where they would have gone if they went to college, which they were discussing. I mean, that could have changed Ohio State's basketball program completely.
Yeah.
Because what happens if he goes to Ohio State? Guess what? 2 or 3 other people would probably want to go to Ohio State the next year. So there's a ripple effect that happens. Maryland's basketball program could be changed if KG went there for 2 or 3 years. There's a Maryland player that impressed the shit out of me the other day, too.
Yeah, I'm streaming it tonight.
Gary Richmond might be the guy you're talking about, Cameron.
Richmond is a guard, though. That's the thing. He's like
I think he was number 45 or something.
Then no, it's not Richmond. It's not Richmond.
I forget that guy's name.
Edgefor. Edgefor. He's not real big.
It sounds like Edgefor for a second. I'm like,
his
wait, what?
name's Subi Edgefor.
God, okay.
Number 24. I was I think it's 45. Number 24. He just looked like he had that look in his eye, like the competitive nature that I like to see. And I was questioning. I was like, I really can't wait to see St. John's play because I want to see what the stink is about. And obviously they lost. It was a great game. That was one of the best games of the tournament so far.
Yeah, but they had no 3-point shooting.
Yeah, but I got to see what some of the stink was about, and it was Edgefor, and I really enjoyed how he played his game.
And actually, you guys want to hear an interesting fact? I just found this out like yesterday. Jamal Mashburn's son plays for Temple.
Cool.
I was just like, whoa, what?
I didn't get to ask the question I wanted about the picture that you had up there.
Oh, okay. I'll bring it back up. But Jamal Mashburn's son plays for Temple.
Mash is right here, 24.
Yeah.
So the question would be, if these 5 men played in college, which one would have the best college career?
For me, it's hard. It's hard because I'm trying to remember the time eras. Who was at the tops? Who were some of the key players while they were?
Yeah.
So it's
LeBron would have been like 03. Would have been right around
Dwight
03.
was 04.
Yeah, so you're talking early 2000s for most of this.
Garnett was like what?
Kobe would have been a little bit before that, so mid 90s.
So
When was Garnett? 90s, mid.
plus who wasn't Dean? Was Dean Smith at Carolina during that time?
Possibly he was still there. I don't remember when he was
winding
done.
down. Yeah, was he winding down? I can't remember. The mid-90s. Yeah. So I mean, Tracy McGrady really didn't take off. He didn't take off initially when he
So
came in. So
in 2002, Maryland won the championship. 2001 was Duke. 2003 was Syracuse.
that
So
was that.
we would have had LeBron and Carmelo in college
Carmelo,
against
yeah.
each other. So if you go back a little further, like when Kobe mid 90s, UCLA in 95, Kentucky 96, Arizona 97, Kentucky 98.
Right now, I'm probably leaning towards Kobe.
I'm going with
part of that,
White because of athleticism.
but I'm also because I don't know if you guys saw the interview with Mad Max when he talked about when he was with the Sixers and they brought Kobe in and Mad Max was like he's gonna check him and he said Kobe was making him look crazy. He told Kobe, "Don't do the college thing. Come to the NBA. You're ready." So and that's why I'm like, okay, Mad Max he wasn't no slouch.
But
You know,
it's kind of a tricky question too. Who would have
yeah,
dominated the tournament? It's not
dominated.
necessarily whose team would have won it or who would have been the best. I mean, it could just be that one year KG averaged 30 in the tournament and they lost in the Final Four, or something like that. That still would be dominant. That's Danny Manning status, in my opinion, because he's the only one I remember that have done something that phenomenal. Now, here's the thing: Tracy McGrady would have been playing with Kentucky when they were winning championships. So that would have kept them where they were. So would his effect be as great? Maybe not. I think the biggest effect could have been Ohio State because Ohio State didn't have a great team at all back then. You put LeBron there, his freshman year, they might make the tournament and lose, but then that second year, you got all these other players that are going to want to play with LeBron. So then that second and third year, if he plays 2 or 3, like that's the next thing. You got to think, what was the rule when these guys played? Was it 1 and done? Was it 2? What were they allowed? Did they have to stay 4? Was it that long ago? But it's like, I think I kind of agree that Kobe would have had the most impact. Overall, we'd be saying, look at his college career. I'm not just talking about the tournament, which the question is, but I think if we went back, we could still be talking about Ohio State as a powerhouse college team now based on LeBron playing for them back then. I think that's how much of an impact he could have had on a program.
Cameron, I will say this. The Knicks have quite a few wing players. So RJ is will he get any true playing time? Because I mean, right now the Knicks, their number 1 draft pick is really seeing no playing time. From everything that I've been told and from whatever I've seen. So it would be hard for him to play. Now, right now, the Knicks, the 2 positions is either, the center spot and the point guard. That's really what the Knicks need. And even more so now because, you're down to a rookie who's going to be starting. So, but hey, that's, how I see it. Would RJ get drafted by the Knicks? I don't know. And do the Knicks have I don't think we have a first rounder.
I don't know. I'm drawing a blank right now.
I think we have a second rounder.
I know you have a second.
Yeah,
I know that.
So if he's going to be a second round, and where is he going to be listed in in the spectrum? You got to wait till they have the whatever, I forgot, the combine, the NBA combine, to get a general idea. So
May 9th to 11th is the G League Combine. May 11th through 18th is the NBA Draft Combine. And the lottery's on the 12th. Draft is on the 25th.
I'll be streaming the lottery. Hey Blake, what pick are we getting?
7th.
Don't know.
Probably.
Don't know.
No, we are luck. Probably 7th.
We got ping pong balls to decide that.
Yeah. No, we are luck. Probably 7th.
Which means you lose it.
I know. I know that. Yeah. Really quick before we go into the NBA versus NCAA. Dame Lillard is out for the year. It's the same thing that
I thought it was indefinitely.
indefinitely or out for the season.
I thought it
Either
was
way, he's out. Either
No, I
way,
know
he's
he's
out.
out. I know he's out. He's just, because I know with what he's dealing with personally. So it's like, and I mean, I was thinking the same thing, but I thought it
Yeah.
said indefinitely. Wait a minute. Let me see.
If it's indefinite or out for the season, either way, it sucks for the Bucks. Either way.
Yeah, it does. It
Yeah.
does.
All right, he's another one. I kept saying it. I want to see Giannis on a different team.
You mean Dame?
No, Giannis. This
Oh.
could be the beginning of the end. I mean, you're not going to do anything when you lose one of your top two best. How far can they go? How far can they go without Dame?
I felt like the duo never worked.
It never really clicked.
It never did.
They've been in the finals for 2 out of 3 years if it really worked. So, yeah.
CBS Sports 2 days ago says he's out indefinitely with DVT. So it says indefinitely, but being so late in the season, he probably is.
There's only 10 games left in the season, so it's probably no matter what, he should be done for the year.
It says he will continue to be tested regularly, the team said, and there's a cautious optimism in Milwaukee that Lillard might be able to return this season. And this is per CBS NBA insider Bill Ryder.
Okay. So, it sucks for Dame. I mean, damn, him and Wemby. The NBA's got to do something because I feel like this is.
What are you going to do? How are you going to stop injury? It's going to happen.
That's
going to happen.
Everyday. I'm telling you from experience, that's an everyday thing. It's just, you got to get medicated. And the thing about it is a lot of times you got to get put on blood thinners to start.
Yep.
So, and that's the thing, the blood thinners and playing the active sport, you can get cut. And when you get blood thinners, whew, that's not a fun thing. So
it's not. So what's next for the Bucks? I don't think they're like what, the 4th seed, the 5th right now.
They're 6.
I don't see, they're the 6th right now. So they're in the play-in.
No, 7 is playing.
Isn't it 6 through? Oh, it's 7 through 10. Yeah, my bad. Oh wow.
Yeah,
okay, so they're on the edge.
How far are they behind the Knicks, though?
The Knicks are in the 3rd seed. The Bucks are
how
the
many
6th.
games? How many games?
5.
Yeah, exactly. And the way the Knicks have been playing.
I'm looking past this postseason. I'm looking at the future because if Dame's gone, I'm kind of like with Blaze here.
Yeah, they're gonna have to move Giannis to get more picks and stuff, so they don't have to. It's the same kind of situation. You don't want to have to completely rebuild when you have something like that. You get something out of him now. I mean, he's only played for that one team, and what are they going to do? They've already had success. What are they going to do without Dame? I mean, I don't know what Giannis's contract's like, but I'm sure he doesn't want to just stick around and look. I mean, you look at the last 5 years, though. Have they really given him anything to really, except for Dame, to really get excited about? Oh yeah, we can get our title. No, not really. And that's what the stars want to see. They want to see you at least give an opportunity for the team to make a run and grab a couple free agents or a big veteran or something, a couple bench pieces, and show that you want to improve the team. And I don't know if the Bucks really did that much.
Yeah. Well, it all started with the Bucks when they traded Drew Holiday. Once they traded Drew Holiday after that championship run, it went downhill. They fired their coach. They got another coach. They let him go. It started off with the Drew Holiday move.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's just get right into the NBA versus NCAA. So we're each going to name like one difference from each side, and then it's going to be like probably a couple weeks thing. Let's see here. Unless we can fill it out now. But yeah, it's like a comparison. that's how I could do it. So, Blaze, if you want to start off with like a rule for the NBA that's different from the NCAA, or if they both share one common.
Well, you got a different 3-point line.
Okay.
Is that what you're talking about? Just picking differences in rules?
What's
Well-
the college 3-point line now?
Isn't it like
I
the
don't know.
Spurs would definitely make
I
a
thought
plan? Yeah. It's drawn
thought
after
they-
the season. I don't know about that, Jake. He probably is. Yeah, Wemby's out for the season, Jake. Same thing with Lillard. Same thing. Same thing. Because in the college, right? I feel like this, right? When I take a look at this, the refs are better on the NBA on the NCAA side than the NBA.
Wrong. I disagree 100,000%.
Really?
The refs in the NBA are professional referees, dude. That's just common sense. Just
The
because you don't like
college, they're professionals too.
No, they're not. I know people that do college. Most of them have other jobs. Professionals are professionals.
Okay.
They're the best at
What
what they
I'm-
do in the world. I know where you're getting at because people complain about NBA refs more. That doesn't make them worse than college refs. Not even close.
They call traveling.
No, it doesn't. That's because it's enforced differently on two different levels. That's why.
They call traveling. Like they enforce. I feel like they enforce the rules more in
The rules are
NCAA than the
different.
NBA.
They're different. That's the problem. That goes back to my other argument. So NBA's 23.9 inch, 23 feet 9 inches. College is 22 1 and a.
Oh, they
3/4.
changed it to 22. I remember it was 19. That's what I was looking for.
But the
Okay.
NBA is 22 in the corners.
Okay.
So it's a tiny bit
Okay.
different in the corners.
Okay.
Line. Yeah.
I mean, the biggest difference to me right now, the glaring one, like I said earlier, is the quarters and halves. You got one game that goes 3 quarters, one.
Yeah.
It just gives you the players more time of a break. You don't have to have all the commercials and stuff like you do in college because of the half. It just seems weird that that's such a difference.
Foul
I don't have a problem with it either way. Personally, I don't care. It's just that's a
what'd you
glaring
say, Coach?
difference.
Is it like
the
Yeah.
NBA is 6, the college is 5.
Yeah, for fouling
So-
out.
foul out?
And-
Yeah.
And also the time. Because with the half, it's 20 minutes? So it's 40 minutes in college, and isn't the NBA 48?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh wait. Yeah. NBA 6. And then the time. Yep. And if anyone in the chat knows any differences, please let me know.
And NBA's 48 minutes. College is 40. NBA has a 24-second shot clock. College has a 30.
40.
Yeah.
The fouls you talked about. The width of the key is 16 feet in the NBA. It's 12 in the NCAA.
What is shot clock again?
Shot clock is 24 in the NBA, 30 for college. And they've even
That's
said, I've
what I-
heard people say, why in the hell you need 30 seconds to shoot the clock? That one, I think, college should change to NBA.
You want to hear something funny?
What?
Or New Jersey, because I was just checking something out. New Jersey has no shot clock, and there's 19 states that have in high school basketball that have no shot clock, where a lot of other states have a 30-second shot clock.
You see those highlights of like the high school kids game where the coach is not stupid. He's like, just dribble the damn ball out, just stand at half court for the rest of the 5 minutes of the game. We win.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I mean. I'm not saying that the NCAA game needs to be more like the NBA. I think there's give and take on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Because you talk about that, was it the Maryland team that won on the buzzer beater the other night?
Yeah.
The 3 steps, but there's a gather step. So you're going to get down to the nitty gritty. In college, technically, you don't got the gather step, but a lot of the refs will let it go because that's legit in the NBA. That's one of the reasons why you see it not called as much. And yes, you can go to carry a lot because carry, if the hand is any more than on the side of the ball, it's a carry. And I mean, I could pick up, there'd be a carry every time down the court if you want to get technical. Because if the hand goes anywhere under the ball, that's a carry.
Yeah, sports betting is definitely more effective because college doesn't have any. Well, Does it?
Yes, you can bet. You can bet anything anymore.
Yeah.
The overtime rules are different. NBA
Yeah.
overtimes are 4 minutes with a running clock, 5 minutes with a stop clock system in college. And the
Wow.
defensive 3-second rule is different. NBA has a defensive 3-second
Oh
rule.
yeah, you're right. College
College
does it.
does not.
Oh wow.
I forgot about that. Yeah, because you can play zone. You're gonna put a man right in the middle of the lane.
Yes, I just think there could be a couple things evened out. Like let's get the time the same. Let's have the foul out be the same. Let's get it doesn't really the 3-point line doesn't matter as much, but you could easily universalize it a little more. It's never going to be exactly the same because it is two different levels of competition.
I think you got what'd you say about the what's it the lane?
The key width, the width
The
of the
key
key. The NBA key is 16 feet wide. The NCAA is 12 feet wide. But like I said, I understand some differences. I just think, and this isn't going to save the NBA or basketball, just changing a couple things. But there could be more of an semblance of the same within the two.
Yeah.
16 feet, everyone's 12, NCAA is 12 feet.
All right. Okay. Anything else or because honestly, please, I'm still gonna go with because a lot of my friends watch college instead of NBA because of the rules and how more effective they are in college.
But that's what I mean. Because there are significant rule differences, you can't really compare how the refs ref to each. Because some of the rules are different. Plus, what do you think the college refs would want to do if they're really good at what they do?
Oh, my bad.
Isn't
my bad.
They
would want to ref the pros. They would want to be a pro.
Yeah, hold on. My bad.
Isn't hand checking different in college?
Yes.
Like you can't hand check at all. But in the pros, you can put one hand.
Hey, I'll be back in 1 second.
Yeah, this is the only ones they had here were those 5. The 3-second rule, overtime, key width, fouls, 3-point line, shot clock, game length.
I don't remember. Yeah, because I can't. When you're guarding someone at the top of the right up over half court, you know how the kids you got 5 seconds to pass the ball.
Yeah.
Forgot about that. That's the one I was thinking of.
Another one is possession. NBA, you do the jump ball per possession. NCAA has the arrow.
Yeah, the arrow.
NCAA has the arrow instead, which I don't really care either way. That doesn't really affect it as bad.
Mm-hmm.
Uniform rules in the NBA. If the uniform isn't correct, the player is fined. In the NCAA, if the uniform is not correct, the whistle is blown and the player must fix it.
I didn't know they had a uniform. What uniform? What is it? To the knees or something about the pants length?
Mm-hmm. Timeouts. NBA 6 timeouts per game, and it's 4 timeouts per game for the NCAA. Coaches are not allowed to call timeouts during live ball situations in NCAA, but they can in NBA.
What was that? I'm sorry.
Timeouts in the NBA.
Oh, really?
In the NBA, each team is allowed 6 timeouts per game, and coaches can call timeouts during live ball situations. In the NCAA, each team is allowed 4 timeouts per game. Coaches are not allowed to call timeouts during the live ball.
Oh, wow.
It's up to the player.
You also we had a couple other things.
Possession, jump ball in NBA or the arrow, and 6 or 5 fouls. We talked about
the 5-second rule for passing the ball when you're being guarded.
Yep.
I forgot what we said, please.
That's it.
Possession?
Yeah, possession is it's a jump ball for NBA, and it's the arrow for NCAA.
Wow. I'm trying to think what else.
That's it. I'm looking at the list right here.
5-second possession.
I didn't see that one anywhere.
Yeah, the referee will count if you watch, and then they'll call 5 seconds if they're being guarded and they have the basketball. That's why you have to pass it.
Isn't there like the forward and back? You can't do that in college, right? Is that the same thing? When you go over the line.
In both NCAA and NBA, a 5-second violation occurs when an offensive player with the ball is closely guarded for more than 5 seconds without passing, shooting, dribbling, resulting in a turnover.
Hmm.
Oh
So
wow.
I remember that in Oh, that's right. The NBA.
Well,
You're
there's
down
a-
in the Mark Jackson rule.
There's a slight difference in how they're worded. Closely guarded in NCAA says defender must be within 6 feet of the player holding the ball, and the player must be in the front court.
Mm-hmm.
In closely guarded in the NBA says similar to the NCAA, defender must be guarding a player with the ball, but the specific distance requirement isn't stated in the NBA. So there is a slight difference in the 5-second rule.
Oh, okay.
You also have the Mark Jackson post down where where if you're backing them down, you have how many? I forget how many seconds. Like if you turn and face them, you're fine, but if you're backing them down, you can't. It's what? Isn't it 3 seconds?
I don't think there's really a negative to trying to make these closer to the same. I guess that's where I'm going with it. I don't think there's anything like bad if we're trying to make these games a little more universal because it is basketball. I understand having some differences because it's a different level of play, but that's a lot of differences for a game that's pretty much the same at that level.
You should have had international in there too.
Yeah, we could. If we did international, you'd have a handful of differences as well there too.
Yeah, next
and
week
I'm not
I'll
even
put international here.
I'm not even really accustomed to the exact differences with international.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, as we get more towards the NBA considering to have a league over there or to have a team over there internationally or whatever, and this goes more international, we go back to the Dream Team to now. Dream Team till now. The change that happened from the Dream Team till now, the game is so much more international.
No one is transferring during the tournament. They may put their name in the portal, but they're not officially transferring until after.
Yeah, I hate to agree with Damien, but that's just like the same thing, like in the NBA and stuff. That should all that in the NFL too. Talking to coaches, talking to players, that shit should be after the season. Like to hear a player, I think it's from Michigan, that's still in the tournament, just declared for the portal.
I hate the portal.
Me too. I think it needs to be there, but there needs strict regulations. NIL and portal are definitely necessary.
Coach Loco, I'm getting that.
Yeah, I know. The transfer, I get it. Where it's I'm sorry. It's like you go.
My guy left Michigan to go to Kansas.
Damn it! Look how much that happens now.
If you're getting more money, I mean, come on now.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's why I think it should be there, but it should be regulated.
Yeah.
Like maybe 3 is the max. You should be able to transfer 3 times, maybe. Like, because hearing that a kid transferred 5 times, that's insane.
Rutgers had Jeremiah Williams. Now he was 2 times at another. I forget. He was 2 times at one school. He transferred to Temple. He was going to Illinois, but it didn't go through. Then he came to Rutgers, and now he put his name back into the portal, and now he's transferring out again. And
there's like really good reasons to enter the transfer portal. Yes. And then there's really shitty ones. Like people are like, I don't want to fight for my spot on the team, so let me go to a different team so I can play. Like I get that, but that's kind of a pussy way out. Like fight for your spot. If that's the team you want to play for, why are you even there? You know, so I get it. The portal should be there, but there has to be really strict limitations on it, I guess. It's just like, you should have to fill out, like, what's your reason? There should only be like 5 legitimate reasons where you can or something. Like, it just needs regulated. I don't have the answer because it's.
Wait, Blaze doesn't have the answer?
There is no the answer. It's the same thing as what's going to fix the NBA. It's like, oh, it's this thing. If you do this, it's no. Same thing. It's how do you fix a transfer portal? If there was a quick answer, it'd be fixed. Yeah, but right now, there's no easy fix for it. Nah. They should have it. But they shouldn't have the freedom they have now with it. Like these kids doing it over and over and over. And,
I will say this, Blaze, though, in terms of when they should go into the portal, because just like Damien is saying, don't forget some school, because we're in March Madness.
Yes.
A lot of schools, their season is over with, so the
That's
kids.
different. Yeah, that's if the
So,
season's over, then you should be. Then the
but
talk
then
should.
that's an unfair advantage though to a lot of kids who, because now spots are going to fill up.
Then it
So,
shouldn't start until the season's completely over.
and that's the debate. When do you, because a kid who's, and again, if you're supposed to be there for college and go to class, then yeah. But then once the season is over with, and when,
Eh,
because this is going through until we're in March, so yeah, you're going into April. Then you get into finals, and a lot of schools are out either April to May.
Yep.
And you got
So
to think too. A lot of kids, like if I'm going to this college because Rick Pitino's the coach, and then after the first year he leaves, I should be
there's
able to transfer.
no there's a rule that says that when the
Yeah,
coach
like
leaves,
that's one of them. That's
yeah.
one of the necessary ones that should be
Wait.
there because a lot of people want to play in a specific system or
Yeah.
for a specific coach, and I have no problem with that.
Hey, Coach, remember Carson Beck? He transferred from his school to Miami
Yeah.
to be closer with his girlfriend, but then he cheated on his girlfriend, but now he's stuck there.
He didn't go there just because his girlfriend was there.
Pretty
interviewed-
much. That was
they-
one of the main reasons.
Well, they interviewed him and he said it wasn't,
Of course he'll say that.
and so did she.
Yeah, okay. That's one of the main reasons, though. That's what they do now. A lot of these players go to be with their girlfriends, and vice versa.
Well, I mean, hey, if you really are that in love, I don't see anything wrong with it. I'm sorry.
I don't either, but then he cheated on her.
Look, it's life. I mean, and that's the thing with the portal. I mean, because you got kids who they go away. I mean, because that's the thing. Kids go away and then they become homesick. How can you really tell an 18-year-old you got to think this all the way through? You go from the East Coast to the West Coast, or from the West Coast to the East Coast, but then
think of it even more. Kids moving 4 times in their college career. Like I know we're not talking about we're not talking about the general college student. We're talking about exceptional players that want to move around to make their situation the best. I get that, but it's like now you got to find all new friends. You got to find a new place to live. I mean, I get it. They're sports athletes and stuff. They're more important things. They're talking about that, but to relocate 4 times during your college career, like where's the stability? It's like you're obviously not going there for college. You're going there to hope you get in the NBA and make money there. But
Yep,
it would be weird to do culture like you said. One kid from New York goes to a college in California. Just that in itself is going to be culture shock, getting used to the people and the area and everything. And then maybe he moves to Texas the next year. And it's like, what the hell?
What's on the agenda for today?
Like, God bless those kids for being able to handle that.
Yeah, I think
Cleveland, Dallas, Indiana.
He's taking all that away, too.
Miami. No, I said Cleveland is home. Dallas,
Yep.
Indiana, Miami.
I'll take home teams.
I'm going to take.
I'll go. Yep,
Is LeBron playing tonight?
probably.
All right, I'll take Los Angeles.
Doesn't matter. Luka's playing.
Oklahoma City, Houston, and Sacramento.
All right, for me, I'm going Cavs, Orlando, Indiana. I want Washington to win, but Indiana. I'll go Atlanta. I'll go with the Lakers, Thunder, Rockets. I guess I'll go Kings.
Home. Done.
Yo, wait, are you going home?
It's tough because there's a lot of real, like they were talking about the other day. There really is no Cinderella left in the college basketball tournament. Like all the big school, and you're going to get that because of you got 14 from the SEC and so many from the Big Ten. So I could see that. I talked about this last week when we talked about the tournament. You can go either way. You go to this Cinderella team and that story of this small school trying to make history, or give me these 2 top 10 teams playing each other every day of the week. I'm down. So we're looking forward to grade 8 matches that can be astronomical. And here's the thing. Yes, you talk about Duke. Yes, you talk about Houston. You talk about Auburn, the top 4 teams. But there's no guaranteed any of those are. I mean, this could be anywhere from a bracket where we finally have all 4 ones in the Final Four to no ones in the Final Four, because there's really good teams, 2, 3s, and 4s that are out there.
Who are the 1 seeds? Who are all 4 of the ones?
Auburn, Houston, Duke.
I forget the last one.
See, I didn't do a bracket.
Florida. Which Florida's playing really good too.
Yeah,
so the 4 top teams are playing. They're playing phenomenal. But Duke, Arizona is going to be good. That BYU Alabama game has like 180 over under. Like they're.
You
it's
want
like
to hear something funny about that?
100-point game.
Go for it, Coach.
Something funny about that? Well, I'm going to relay it right back to Rutgers. There are 2 players on both teams from Rutgers, Moet Mag and Cliff Omarui for Alabama.
Oh, wow. That's actually kind of ironic.
Yeah.
Texas Tech is really good. Maryland's good. Like none of these teams are bad. Like there's no, how did they get there team?
Mm-hmm.
Like Purdue, Tennessee, BYU, Arizona, Michigan, Auburn, Ole Miss is playing good. Texas Tech, they're mid teams, but they're playing really well.
Michigan State's out of it?
Michigan State, Ole Miss,
Auburn.
So Michigan State could play Michigan in that South bracket final.
Really?
I know. I want that to happen. I want that to happen so badly.
Bracket?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Michigan State's the number 3 seed. Michigan's what, 5?
5.
I went with the odds. You got 14 teams from the SEC. Let's see. Just like, remember we talked about the Big East, St. John's, was it Georgetown that had a 3 out of 4 Final Four?
Mm-hmm.
We could see 3 or 4 Final Four teams from the SEC.
Yeah,
because Alabama is in that bracket, Auburn's in that bracket, Florida's and Arkansas in that bracket, and Kentucky, Tennessee in that bracket. So they definitely have the ability to have all 4 Final Four teams.
Yeah. Guys, March Madness is tonight and all weekend. Halftime called me, and he was like, Mitch, how long is March Madness? I'm like,
see, the thing that sucks now
another
is...
Another week or 2?
The first 2 days spoil me because I'm used to having 4 games on at once. Now you're down to 1 at a time again. Maybe 2 are playing at the
Marley!
same time.
Yeah, Marley,
there might be 2 playing overlapping a little bit, but we got spoiled those first couple days because you had legitimately if one game sucked, go watch another one. And I have the split screen with YouTube TV where I can see all 4, and it's just an easy click. This game's a blowout. I'll go to the game. It's almost over. Then when the game's over, go to the next game. It's almost over.
My dad does that too on his TV.
Beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Shout out to my adopted university. Let's take down Duke. The college I graduated from is now part of Arizona. So
I still got, what is it, 96 on my mind when Kentucky lost Arizona in the finals. I still kind of, even though I like Arizona, I've always liked the Wildcats. They're Wildcats too.
Wait, Blade's 96?
Yes, not 69, 96. You horny little bastard.
All right, guys.
I'm going to do you a favor one day. I'm going to call one of my shorties for you.
All right.
She was like, okay.
All right, guys. Make sure you guys hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell. Rios will be back next week he'll be back. He had to work today. So, yeah, guys, we'll catch you all later. Have a good one. Peace.